Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's vOLTHA TST. Thanks for joining. And as usual, the meeting is public and recorded, and will be shared live on YouTube. So please be mindful of the comments you make and the information you share. So first of all, just as a reminder, please do take your time to do the Jira review, and we're going to do the code freeze on November the 26th. So please be mindful of that when you're scoping out which stories to pick up and things like that. So the next item, just out of the box, is the Proto simplification that Ken did. All the patches are merged, both the Protos and all the services have also the updated Protos and vOLTHA lib go. So I think this can be considered completed. Ken, would you agree?
Yes, I will agree with that.
Awesome, perfect, great. So on the on the stale state of etcd, there was some stale state that was kept in the adapter, an OLT adapter. Grish has fixed that, and there was also some stale state that was kept in the logical meters in the RW core. I have a patch for that. If everything goes right, it's going to be merged today. So that would be good. Grish, anything you wanted to add on this topic?
No, nothing from my side.
Okay. Really, the fixes were to make sure that the keys were deleted in a way that we were not having issues and leaving some stale state after. And this was thanks to some tests that was put in by Hardik some time ago. Okay. On sorry, no, this will not need bed porting. This was it was not on 2.8, it was on master. That was my bad. Okay. I don't think we're gonna get to this, at least the periodic harvester pruner. We're not gonna get to it by the 2.9 release, unless somebody feels that this is a must. Grish, Ken, David, do you feel this is a must for 2.9, or we can skip it and put it into 2.10?
Yeah, I don't think it's urgent for this release, in my opinion.
That is my thinking as well. Yeah. Okay, then let's put it for 2.10. And the Jiras are there, so we're just gonna keep track of them and put them in the next release. Okay. So let me actually strike them out. They don't need to be here. It's nothing to talk about. So, okay. Okay. So on the OLT rewrite, Theo's not on the call. There's OCP, so there's a little bit of overlap with that. We have made it to run on the OLT, on the hardware tests. There were a couple of failures that were really related to minor changes in the behavior of the app that actually showed a few issues in the vOLTHA implementation, especially around flow deletion. So I know Theo is working on those, and we're really close. I think we'll get it in the next week, I think. So that's also that. That's the update on the delete during reconciliation. Maybe Ken, you want to give us some thoughts on this?
Yeah. So all the patches are up. and there has been changes in the core, and there was while testing, there was we saw a panic in the vOLTHA Go, so there has been a fix there, and that has been merged. So there is also a change in the OpenONU Go to be able to accept the delete request following a restart, even without a reconciling being done. So all the patches are up there. So just a question of more testing or merging them. Initial testing has been done and it looks okay.
Okay, great. Thanks. That's really good. I think that what I could do is I could merge my change for the stale state, and then we could rebase the core one and put it in and put those in as well. Would that be okay?
Yeah, that should be okay.
Okay. And what I understood is also that Torsten might be working on a test for this.
Yeah, this is what I got from the Slack message.
Yeah. Okay. Any questions on this one? Okay. I don't believe there is any update on the IPv6 support, Mahir.
Just one update. I was able to test the IP version 6 on the HSI flow.
Oh, nice.
So with VOL 3.10 version.
Okay.
So it just worked. I wasn't expected at the first try, but it worked.
Okay.
Yeah. That is
nice.
That is only one update.
And that is with how many code changes in almost VOLTHA?
Nothing. No changes at all.
That's surprising, but that's very good news.
So I don't know about the other workflows, but in Turk Telekom workflow, there is an HSI flow, which doesn't require any DHCP or any other protocol, just the data paths. So with VOL 3.10, that's unicast flow is also able to transmit the multicast packets. With the prior versions, it wasn't working. So
okay.
This version, it worked. Yeah.
Nice. Good.
Yes.
Good.
Uh,
I think that they will not work with, for example, DHCP relay, because the DHCP relay, if I'm not mistaken, does expect the IPv4 header or things like that,
Yes.
as we discussed in the document. But I think this is still good progress.
Serkan, so the HSI flow didn't have IPv4 classifier?
No.
Okay.
We didn't install any IP version 6 classifier.
Okay.
But
So yeah, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it is just fresh news. I will search with Burak if there is any mistaken with it. We will check that test results again.
I mean, because if that is the case, if that works, we could, because I believe the Deutsche Telekom workflow is the same. So I believe that we could try the Deutsche Telekom HSIA workflow with IPv6, and that should succeed. We should write a sanity test for that, and maybe even try the Turk Telekom HSIA workflow with IPv6. But so one question, Serkan, so you're giving it a static IP manually?
Yes.
Because the Turk Telecom workflow has the DHCP relay. It uses the DHCP relay.
But
so you're giving it a manual IP address.
Yes, for the HSI, we create a manual IP address because it gets the DHCP IP address using the PPPoE tunnel. So it doesn't relay the DHCP messages. In our tests, we just give, in lab tests, we just give static IP to the RG.
Yeah. I think that if we do the Deutsche Telekom workflow, given that they don't actually use the DHCP relay, we could test this with just providing the BNG, a DHCP v6 request, and then an answer from the BNG on the DHCP on DHCP v6. But given that there is no relay in ONOS, it should work.
I believe so.
Okay, so maybe this is something that if we could provide, we could put in a test for, mark it as not critical, and see how our pods do with that. Yeah, maybe this is a good action item for Hardik and the testing front. Hardik, what do you think? Hardik, you're muted if you're trying to speak.
It is gonna be just a configuration issue for the tests. We need to know the IP version 6 IP address of the BNG on that interface, and also, just that, I guess, yeah, just that.
Yeah. Okay, maybe we can look into this. Okay, let me put Hardik on here. Okay, an item that I wanted to bring up and that I wanted to discuss today is the Voiceover IP support on the Proto. So thanks to Yazin and the team at Letsia, we got the Protos updated to support the Voiceover IP profile, the service profile IP API, and also capability to add or remove a technology profile. So say technology profile, delete technology profile. So there were some comments over back and forth. What I would like to discuss mainly is what I see somewhat of a, I would like to hear people's thoughts on the fact that we are adding this, which is a subscriber-specific element. Because there's two pieces to this: the system profile, which is like a SIP config, VoIP config, and these are general for all of the objects, UNIs across all of this. But this instead is subscriber specific, if I understand correctly, right?
Right, correct.
So my issue, my personal issue, is that the technology profile, and I was not in VoLTHA when the technology profile concept was put forth, but the way I see it, it is subscriber agnostic thing. It's not related to any specific subscriber. It just provides an overview of what needs to be done in the system from a certain perspective, such as how many gem ports, how many tcons, how many, what are the multicast addresses, and things like that. So having technology, having subscriber-specific elements in the voice over IP profile, or in any case in the profile, in a profile, it's not correct to me. We should have a voice over IP profile that correctly provides information about the general state of the system that needs to be included for it to work, for voice over IP to work. But if we need subscriber-specific information, we should have at least a specific API in vOLTHA for this subscriber information to be put into vOLTHA. We should not go through the add or remove profile API that we started here. But I'm going to open up the floor and hear if anybody has any other thoughts on this.
Isn't that the case, Andrea? I mean, there are, I think the user specific profile is going to be inserted as and when the VoIP user comes in. Isn't that the case? And
Yes.
there is a common profile that is going to be inserted.
Yeah,
at the
but
start of the system.
But well, okay. Well, but the technology profile does not have a follow-up. Let me put it this way. So the technology profile is one, you load it into the system at startup effectively, and you don't change it.
Right.
So my problem is going through the same API here for things that do change on a subscriber specific way. Because the way we do subscriber configuration is we specifically call a defined API to do that configuration. Otherwise, this API becomes a catch-all. It just becomes, okay, you need something configured in the system, just put it there and go read it from there. It doesn't work like that. It shouldn't work like that, at least in my mind. Do we need a voice over IP configuration for that, for the subscriber? We provide an API to do that. So people go and use that API to configure elements for the subscriber for the voice over IP, while this API stays as a tech profile, as a system configuration API, not a subscriber configuration API. That is my take.
Yeah, I see your point, and I tend to agree with that. But yeah, if anyone has any thoughts, yeah, I'm also willing to hear.
Should this be it seems that this can be a separate service by itself, the voice over IP.
A separate service.
What do you mean with separate service?
Yeah, exactly. What do you mean by service? Because there's many definitions of service.
Okay, currently we bundle the vOLTHA service and we put all the APIs and everything into that one, and that's will give rise to situation where we just keep adding APIs, and it's very hard to figure out like which APIs belong to what category. So when I'm talking about a separate service, I'm talking with maybe a separate category here of voice over IP, and in that one, that's where we add all those message types and the RPCs that is specific for voice over IP.
Okay, fair. I think both of them are fair. We can do it, I guess.
And one question, when I was looking at the message type for the subscriber there, I see password. Do we intend to have password passing around like that?
Yeah, I mean, when talking password, of course, I mean, the security issues comes with it. Yeah, we didn't think about the security issues now. So just giving the service now for the first way.
It's gonna be encrypted.
Encrypted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, but
This is not a big issue to encrypt it and decrypt it. So it should be encrypted at the end of the implementation.
Yeah, because this comes also, does that mean that the gRPC connection will need to be encrypted now that you are passing it passwords across?
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, you know, agent needs the passwords.
One option could be to pass the location of the password without like a Kubernetes secret or something like that, not the password itself, but yeah, again, a location, a place where you could actually get the password from, and not the password itself. Again, Kubernetes secret, for example.
That's the VoIP secret, Andrea. I mean, that's something that gets sent over OMCI, I believe, right?
Yeah, no, I know. But what you can do is that you can store the password in a correct way in a Kubernetes secret, and that Kubernetes secret can then be read by the VoLTHA core. So you don't have to pass the password clearly over the gRPC channel. That's what Ken was hinting at, that we don't want the clear text password going over protobuf.
Yeah, I mean, if the gRPC channel itself is encrypted, I think, yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Okay. So I guess the comments here are that the voice over IP should probably be another service, and at least another API for the subscriber specific information that needs to be sent to VoLTHA, with the distinction between a system level information, which is what we call the profile right now. The technology provides a system-wide configuration, and subscriber configuration, which is instead specific, and that needs a separate API. And that we need to be aware of the password and not put it into clear text, encrypt it, and have the gRPC connection encrypted as well. Is this a right
yes,
way
correct.
of putting a...
Yeah.
If
you can put these comments on the document, then we can proceed accordingly.
Okay, I will put them in the TST document. That would be okay,
Yeah.
Mahir?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, then on this one, we will wait for your changes to the patch, and we will then continue the review. I just also wanted to know if you started, because Oddsgate told us that you guys have started some implementation and testing of this. So I would like to know if you have done so, how is that going, and how big is this change gonna be in the system, given the week or so, now month or 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks before code freeze. Sorry.
Okay, let me
give a summary then about it.
So what Sözke doing is, I mean, she's now in ONU adapter creating the emis that required for SIP service, and try to give a SIP service to a subscriber in a UNI, POTS UNI. So, and while doing this, we are trying to do less to the final state machines of the OpenONU adapters. We try to keep the code as much as, I mean, separate as much as needed, I mean, separate as much as needed. So from the FSMs. So, you know, it brings a lot of new configurations, but they can be handled in a separate way so that we don't touch the existing final state message too much. But there are some problems now we are struggling with, is when you try to give the service to more than one POTS UNIs in an ONU device, then the complexity comes with it, because we only need to say configure one technology profile to all of the POTS UNIs in the ONU itself. This means, I mean, pushing only one technology profile, pushing only one flow to ONU for all of the POTS UNIs. So, and this means the ONU-based, say, flow insertion, not UNI-based. We are trying to insert the flow for ONU, not the ports itself. So, I mean, this is a bit of tricky in vOLTHA, because, I mean, we are sending the flows from ONUs to a specific UNI port. I mean, you know, the classifiers need to have these ports, etc. So this is a bit tricky. We are struggling with that on the other hand. This seems that this brings a lot of change to a lot of components. So we're still trying to design it. We actually we couldn't, I mean, find a clean solution for that. So to be honest, I don't think we can do it in vOLTHA 2.9 timeline. Okay, that's the whole situation about the VoIP support.
Just a quick question, Mahir. I was taking a look at the Proto update. I guess you will also need some updates between the core and the adapters, right? Some APIs there for VoIP.
Yeah, we first thought that we can put this information to KV store, this common system configuration, and also the user configuration to KV store. And when the technology profile is downloaded to ONU adapter, we can read this configuration from KV store. So there will not any need to any messaging between the adapters and the RW core. But after we try to, I mean, give service to two UNIs on the same ONU, then we may need some extra messages in between them. But currently we don't. Yeah.
So if this is if we're adding APIs to change subscriber profile, then that also will be in the database, and then there will be a watch on the adapter side.
Yes. Yes, I mean, currently, yes. But yeah, actually, for the second phase of this, we should also think the configuration change of the system, not, I mean, system parameters, etc. So these all have to be watched by ONU adapter, or, as you said, a message should be, I mean, put in between the core and the adapter, ONU adapter for this. But currently, we think to watch it in the first phase. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
Probably, I mean, this feature will take, I mean, some time and some phased approach to bring some additional features on it. You know, first we will probably, I mean, introduce it for one UNI, then for multi-UNI, then for some security updates, etc., and some scaling updates. So it will be needed, yeah, as you said.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, maybe Mahir, on this topic, if it would be interesting if you could share a little bit more in detail some of these issues that you're facing, so that maybe the full breadth of experts here could help you maybe find a way or look for help.
Yeah, you're right.
Because while there might be ways that you guys have thought of, we might also have ideas within ONF or within like Sena, the whole TST, people like that.
Yeah, you're right. Let me to clarify a few items that we haven't clarified yet. I mean, as requirement, as the things to be done. I mean, the things that needed to be done. Then I can form perhaps a document, and then we can discuss on it in a TST or other meeting. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep, that would be good. Okay. Anything else on people's mind? This was the last topic we had for today. There's no update on the PLS stuff that I know of. So anybody wants to share anything to the team? Any element that needs to be discussed?
I couldn't understand the meaning of adding a new service regarding the web profile, web user profile. I mean, so for example, what should be the name of that API? What do you think? Because right now, for user-specific things, we are inserting flows, right? We are adding flows for services, but this is a kind of device configuration, I believe. So I couldn't find a good name for this new service. I was thinking.
Yeah, when I'm talking about service here, it's really like a different category. Just to not to mix up all the APIs in just one place. So that could be just a VoIP service or a VoIP config service, and then that's where you define your messages, and that's where you define all your RPCs that are relevant to that one.
Okay. Just you are saying we shouldn't put into the same API with the technology profile and the VoIP profile.
Yeah, it's more an attempt to because as we move along, we'll keep adding services. We'll need to keep adding like APIs, and the list is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So it will be useful maybe just to have a service for that.
Specific service. Okay, got it. Thank you.
There's also some inconvenience of having separate services too, in the sense of if there's an off-bound that needs to talk to that service, then they will need to make sure that they won't talk to the generic VoLTHA service, they will talk to this VoIP service. So there's also pros and cons.
Yeah. yeah. That con to me is not trivial. So maybe a middle ground of having it in a specific API, meaning a technology profile API, a voice profile API, and a VoIP subscriber configuration API. Would that be a middle ground without having to have another service which needs to expose another port, which needs another port forward for like tests and things like this?
In terms of service itself, the way on the opposite is you have the same port. It's not a different port.
Okay.
What you have the port, and on that port you have different services running on it. So you'll have the VoLTHA service. You will have the, like for instance, currently, after we did the gRPC conversion, what happened? Like an OLT app for OLT adapter, for example, will have two services. One services that for adapter services, and another one for ONU to service OLT, ONU request. So they are all on the same port. It's just there are two different services. The thing is, you don't open new ports. You reuse the same thing, except when you create a client and you're going to talk to the service, you need to specify your client to which specific service it needs to talk to. That's where it's a little bit different.
Okay.
If you have everything in one service, let's say, for example, like a VoLTHA service, then you can reuse the same client for everything. But if we separate it into different kind of services, then you will need, if you want to talk to the VoIP service, then you need to get a gRPC client for the VoIP service.
Okay.
That's what it's a little bit more. It's more work, but also it's make things clearer. So it's really depends on what we can do from a Northbound perspective.
Okay.
But it's same point. Nothing has changed.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for the clarification.
Okay. Any other questions or comments on the topic or any other topic? Okay, then if not, please do keep in mind the release date, do your Jira review and things like that. And let's talk again in a couple of, in a week, and on the TST and on Slack or the mailing list for anything else. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Thanks, bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.